Ciao a tutti, per voi che adesso assisterete a questo breve video, un'anticipazione. A fine clip, gli ultimi 15 secondi, daremo un'informazione chiave e importantissima su questo workshop. Quindi guardate questo video, ma soprattutto non perdetevi gli ultimi secondi. Buona visione. Ciao carissimi colleghi della EFT Italia Community. Sono qua con Jef, che la maggior parte di voi già conosce, siamo in Polonia, abbiamo appena finito di fare una conferenza bellissima in EFT organizzata dalla comunità polacca e siamo qua per introdurvi un pochino di quello che sarà il workshop che terremo presenzialmente a Milano a novembre riguardo il lavoro, tutto il lavoro emotivo, esperienziale in EFT. Ma adesso inizierò a parlarvi in inglese per poter avere una conversazione con Jef perché sta annuendo, ma purtroppo non sta capendo quello che stiamo dicendo. So, Jef, thank you for being so attuned, which probably this will be also one of the focus, the attunement
Yes,
with the emotion, and you were so attuned in nothings.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting actually, because I was just really listening to what you were saying to the wonderful people in Italy.
Yes.
I had like the opportunity to meet some of them, and you guys have such an amazing, warm community that you and Andrea are building together with all the people there.
Yeah.
And I didn't really understood what you were saying, but there is something in the way that you speak that, there's a lot of, wisdom in there. There's a lot that you can feel, and I think that's, that's exactly why we thought maybe this is a good idea to just come up with like a 2-day workshop where we together will just really be focusing on that attunement.
Yes.
Because here is the thing, it's so interesting, if I hear you talk, maybe a part of my brain will go like, what is she saying? What kind of language? Yeah, definitely it's Italian. Okay, but what is the structure? What is she saying? What is the message here? What and I might get lost.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think that right now many therapists are nodding and they're saying, yes, we get lost. We get lost in trying to find the correct language sometimes, the correct emotional language, the correct intervention.
Yeah.
And this sometimes can make people getting lost.
Yeah, and there is something with like, learning EFT, it takes a while, and to me, if I look back at my, first trainings, and I'm talking about the first 2-3 times I did an externship, and then the core skills, and so even then I had like a lot of trainings under my belt, but still at the beginning it's so amazing, because we got the attachment concept, we've got the way of thinking and seeing, and you start recognizing patterns, you start recognizing like, okay, there's something as that pursuing position, there's something as that withdrawn position that creates like this attachment drama that creates the patterns. You start to see it,
and it's immediate. You connect with that, and you said yes, it's exactly that.
Oh, that's a fantastic
now
moment.
I go home and I start working and I'm really in, and then
and then there's also the second thing, you learn really specific interventions. Like, this is what we should do. You can slow it down, you can reflect, you can expand, you can do reframes, you can put up enactments, you can just like all those kinds of things that you learn, and it's so extremely helpful. But there's this one layer, and maybe that's a layer that grows on you even slower, is where you just all the knowledge, all that with all the trainings, it goes in your head, it sinks a little bit in, it sinks in, but then there's this way thing in learning a model in psychotherapy, and especially an experiential model like EFT, you know, in getting like growing into it, actually it's almost like you learn it for the first time, it sinks in your body, and then you have to like really unlearn it again and just learn it in a new way.
Exactly.
And this is what we thought might be like a really good idea together, to just take 2 days time to just like really tune in into that emotional channel.
Yes.
So that we as therapists, like with all the knowledge that we already have around this model, that we, instead of recognizing things, knowing things, that we can really lean into it, like leaning into that emotional, all those emotional processes, instead of understanding, changing it. How can we really feel with people?
Yes.
What is really going on? And at that moment, you know, it starts to change. It becomes
for the therapist. It's something that it's improve also our capacity to be connected and to stay attuned, and then working with the live emotion.
Working with live emotion and just like enlarging that capacity. And I know your community. I've met people. I don't know your community, but I had the opportunity of meeting. I know they're just so beautiful. I've seen like people in that workshop where I was like, you know, people do have a lot of capacity to work with emotions, but we want to really offer you 2 days of just like really take that, you know, go to the edges and just really expand that emotional capacity. So you feel like, oh, instead of this is what happens, oh, but I can really feel it, you know, I can relate to what people are feeling here. This is the emotional process in one partner, this is the emotional process in the other, and this is the emotions that, you know, living in this relational drama. And you know, the way that we're going to do it, as we talked about it today and previously, it's like it's a 2-day workshop, and day 1 we will be like really focusing on the emotional world of that pursuing position. Then the emotional world of that withdrawing position. What is so specific? How can we feel a little bit what it is, and what is needed? What is what those people need, so we can really, while we're feeling with them, lead them to that, you know, that leading edge, where, you know, that magical thing happens, where, as Sue says, we change the music, right? And if we change the emotional music, we can start changing the dance. And that is what it's all about in that stage 1. And day 2, we're going to do something similar, right?
Around stage 2.
Around stage 2.
And actually was, I think that what was really beautiful, because we already are planning, and actually we have part of the community already registered for the workshop.
That's good.
It's been a while that we planned, but today, I think, thanks to the work both of us did at the conference, we could really experience, we had this experience of leaning in, of helping therapists just to connect emotionally. It was not theory what we did, actually.
No, I just want to, can I just interrupt you there? You just did today such a wonderful presentation on the blame or softening piece. That's where you really took the time to just enter the world of the one who's get like really caught in that pursuing position. And, you know, you just really took the time, just letting all the audience feel like, how does it feel? How can we relate and attune? And you just really you pulled me into that channel. And, you know, taking the time to feel it, it was extremely touching and moving to just like really feel like, yeah, I got it. You know, this is what I teach about, I train it. But taking the time to just really feel it. And then once you feel it, the whole model of EFT, you know, it creates a whole other level of understanding, and it just starts to make so much sense.
Yes.
This is, if you think about the blame or softening,
Yes.
it's a 5, 6, 7. There are all those steps. We use the tango. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's very essential. But when you really tune into that channel, those steps and those moves, they're just not techniques.
Exactly.
They're just following an emotional process. And,
Exactly.
even as a trainer, to take the time today again, or at your lecture, it was, it's so good, to just really reconnect. And then you feel like, it expands,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
empathy, the attunement,
Exactly.
So I really love that.
Yeah. And it very connected with the work you did with Leven, also around all the self of the therapist, actually, because how we engage emotionally, how we work with our clients, it's everything in. And so there are so many layers when we think around working with emotion with our clients. And also, if I think at the feedback that we got, it was a lot of different nuances, like from I finally get my clients, I finally get the anger, I finally get the vulnerability, the pain, and even it was a shifting for me how I relate with myself, with my pursuer partner parts, and how it shifted because the different level of engagement that we walked in, that I walked before in a way and you walked in another way, in another layer, which so actually this conference was very good for the Italian community, because this workshop took it was like a different shape. So
I'm really looking forward.
We are spoiling again too much spoiler for you. So this conversation is very beautiful, and we want to share this conversation with all of you. Actually,
Definitely.
This is what we are really looking forward.
And you know what I like about this conversation is that maybe at the risk of spoiling again, I always will. But this is the thing about EFT. There's always like this place where you just, once you go in that emotional channel, there's always like those pieces that, there's a layer deeper, there's a layer deeper. And I just really love to have the conversation, because it's the conversation that helps us to just like, this is how it goes. And we want to do that, both of us, with people who attend at the workshop. And we will put it in a structure, piece by piece, emotions in stage 1, both attachment strategies. Then we bring it to stage 2. What is it? We draw our engagement from an emotional perspective. What's the blame and softening from an emotional perspective? And how is that related to the great power that a romantic relationship has? And how can we not only access the emotions, but through accessing the emotions, we can access that relational power where people like really heal. That will be our focus. And now I think I must stop talking, because I will start spoiling it all again.
Exactly.
You know me. No?
Yes. So we wait for all of you, and after this video we'll follow all the information, but you also can check on our website, and we will leave all the indication right after the video.
Looking forward to meet you all.
Ciao a tutti, a presto.
It's a bit funny, we just stopped the recording, and it was me like, hey, you're spoiling too much and you should like stop talking. And then you said to me, we forgot something to say. So here we are again with a brief message. Maybe you can do it in Italian, and I can just, like we started the video, we'll try to attune to what you just want to say.
It's a great idea.
Go ahead.
Quello che ci siamo dimenticati di dirvi è che tutto questo lavoro bellissimo che faremo sulla sintonizzazione emotiva, sul lavoro con le emozioni nei diversi stadi, tutta la parte relazionale, in realtà verrà affrontata anche da un punto di vista della terapia individuale. Quindi è proprio un lavoro di coinvolgimento, di lavoro di connessione emotiva, di interventi con le emozioni applicato nella EFT, non solo nella parte relazionale. Quindi ecco, questo è un aspetto decisamente importante.
With the brain, I have no idea what you just said. You know, when I feel, I would just summarize it in, maybe you want to give like a big welcome to a lot of people.
Yes.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
See you
Bye.
soon.